Under the Indian Contract Act, a void agreement is a dead letter. It is an arrangement the law treats as entirely unenforceable from the start. When a contract collapses, we often assume the financial outcome is the same for everyone. The deal is gone, and any money paid into it is lost forever. But the law does not treat every failure equally. Two different void agreements can fall apart, yet one party might receive a court-ordered refund, while the other is left with nothing. The void label only tells us the contract is broken. To determine who recovers their money, the court applies a test looking beyond the contract itself. This test relies on two factors: where the agreement is categorized in the legal code, and whether the parties intended to follow the law or bypass it. In short, the Indian Contract Act determines if you get your money back by assessing whether you acted out of a genuine mistake of fact or a deliberate violation of the law. This diagram shows the logical progression. Every case begins here, at the root node of a void agreement. The first branch is for parties who acted with honest intent. This leads to Section 20, covering agreements voided by a mutual mistake of fact. For an agreement to land here, both parties must have been honest. They intended to sign a legal deal, but they were both wrong about a central fact, like the existence or the quality of the goods involved. Because there is no guilty mind in this scenario, the legal system does not seek to punish the participants for the failure. This honesty makes Sections 65 and 72 available to the parties. These sections function as a mechanism for restitution, requiring that any money or advantage received under the void agreement be returned to the original owner. In this specific pathway, the courts act as a recovery service. They use the law to ensure no one is unfairly enriched by a mistake. The state assists these parties in returning to their original financial position because their initial goal was legally sound. The process changes when the law encounters unlawful objectives. This second major branch captures agreements made with a guilty mind. These are contracts that are expressly void. They aren't void because of a mistake. They are void because the things they aim to do are prohibited. These prohibited acts fall under Sections 23 through 30 of the Act, covering everything from illegal considerations to interference with the justice system. Unlike the innocent parties in Section 20, these participants knowingly choose to engage in forbidden acts. This is where the legal principle of equity creates a barrier. Equity only protects those who enter court with clean hands, a standard these parties cannot meet. As a result, the court system refuses to manage the fallout of the deal. It will not spend resources sorting out an illegal transaction. Because of this, the right to restitution under Sections 65 and 72 is explicitly denied. If you pay someone to perform a legally forbidden act and they fail to do it, the law won't help you get your money back. When an objective is legally prohibited, the Indian Contract Act removes its safety nets, leaving the parties to deal with the loss on their own. To see how this works in practice, we can look at a specific case from the text, the professional surety. A surety is someone who guarantees another person's legal obligation. While standard bails are legal, hiring a professional surety, essentially paying for a fake guarantee, is an expressly void objective. This visualization shows the transaction. Figure A pays Figure B to act as a professional surety. The agreement fails. Figure B does not provide the surety, and Figure A is out of pocket. Figure A goes to court, arguing that since the contract was void, Figure B has no right to keep the money and must return it. To see why Figure A will lose, we track the payment through the legal framework. Section 20 does not apply. This wasn't a mistake about a fact. Both parties knew they were paying for a prohibited service. Instead, the case is routed down the right-hand path. The act of hiring a professional surety is a violation of the law. Because the objective itself was legally forbidden, the parties have no standing to ask for a refund. The request for a refund hits the blocked gate. The court dismisses the claim. It refuses to use its authority to return money that was spent on an illegal objective. In these cases, the law allows the loss to lie where it falls. The state will not sanitize an illegal deal by mandating a refund. This completed map shows two different worlds of contract law. It clarifies why the void status is only the beginning of the story. The Indian Contract Act uses voidness to stop the enforcement of bad deals, but it uses the principle of equity to decide who gets their money back. The courts will help those who made honest mistakes, but they will offer no protection to those who knowingly enter prohibited agreements. The final takeaway is clear. Under the Indian Contract Act, the law only provides a path to restitution for those whose agreements failed despite honest intentions.